Who is Mike? Sure, Chapter 4 gave us an answer, but I wouldn't call it a satisfying one. You expect me to believe that after all this build-up that Mike is just one of Tony's tricks? That can't be true, and it isn't. If you are to watch the following semi-scripted rambling, you will come to understand the truth of Mike, and just as I have. Also, in the long-ass time I took to make this video, the channel Seeks Animation and Stuff made a video where I believe they have come to the same conclusion as I. I am yet to watch it, and I am glad to know that I'm not alone in my delusions. Also, the following video contains spoilers for Deltarune. Duh. And a familiarity with the source material is expected. My name is Hamona. Let us begin. It's now time for our feature presentation. Feature. Coming straight from your house. Coming straight from your house. Coming. He's the one coming. The king of only. He's groovy and never groovy. You can't get this from an egg. The sensation of your screen. The show that makes you scream. Say it with him, folks. Mr. Harmona's one. Chapter 3, 4, and 5 were initially meant to release as a single bundle, unlike the Chapter 3 and 4 and delayed 5 release we got. Chapter 5 was removed from this bundle so that Chapter 3 and 4 could release as a Nintendo Switch 2 launch title. And, coincidentally, the room that contains the Switch 2 exclusive content is the Mike room. Therefore, if Mike was intended to be fully explained in Chapter 5, then the Mike characters being in that room only exist because of the fact that Chapter 5 wasn't to be released with them. It's kind of like an apology because the fans would have gone crazy without any actual Mike content. So therefore, we can extrapolate that since Toby probably had the Chapter 3, 4, and 5 release schedule in mind when he was writing Chapter 2, he probably wrote the foreshadowing with Spamton, with the idea that the next time the fans would get Deltarune, they'd also have Chapter 5. Now to get to the point that frustrates me the most. No, the PNG of the microphone isn't actually a mic, they were a real person. We know there was a real mic, and that they were Tenna's assistant at one point in time. Because obviously the mics have to be filling in for someone. And we also know that the original mic left TV time when Spamton left, due to there being a piece of fake mic dialogue in the Cat Petter's mic room that functionally says, Tenna said Mike started acting different once the mailman left. Spamton also seems to hold Mike in high regard, due to the way that Spamton talks about Mike in Chapter 2, and also the way that Mike is written about in that one Spamton sweepstakes page, which would also imply that he was an actual character and not just, some fuck-ass PNG. If Spamton and Mike are together, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that Spamton leaving would also trigger Mike to leave. Now, if you're not an absolutely insane conspiracy theorist, you may not be familiar with the Cat Petters connection. Cat Petters is an in-universe pet-raising game that Noelle played in her childhood, and all of the mics in the mic room are heavily associated with Cat Petters. All their animations, their idle animations during the battle, are the cat dance from the Rare Cats minigame, and all of their minigames are also from Cat Petters. Now this is important because it's heavily implied that Friend's origin point is from Cat Petters. Basically, it's sort of implied that Friend was created from Noelle's modded Cat Petters save, which is why Friend, who is associated with the Tale of Hell, is made of circles, because that's how Noelle describes the cat. She describes them that they're made out of circles. Also, in the Mike's boss fight, all their attacks eventually become cat-based, with many of them actually involving satiating cats by petting them, which, is a pretty obvious connection. After you beat the actual Mike boss fight, in the Batat minigame, which is the Green Pippins one, there are two interesting things. Firstly, Friend just fucking appears. It just appears Something a lot more interesting is the music which is involved with the mics. The song from Batat, Airwaves, has the freedom motif. It is said that this is a jab at the community's obsession with the motif, but call me crazy, but if that were the case, I feel like the freedom motif would appear in the Jongleur and Pluey as well, but it only appears in Batat. And Batat is the meeting aim when friend directly appears, so there probably is some sort of correlation. Another interesting music fact is Cat Swing, the Mike's collective boss fight theme. It's very interesting because it sounds like a big band rendition of some of Spamton's themes and motifs, which is all, well and dandy, until you realise that Spamton has a habit of plagiarizing his most iconic aspects from other characters. His square bracket speech is trying to replicate Tenner's cooltext.com speech. Swatch directly says that Spamton plagiarizes his looks, and Spamton's glasses is likely to emulate Friend, although he's got the pink first instead of the yellow. So who's to say his musical motifs aren't plagiarized? We already know that Hey Every is a motif stolen from TV Time, so it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say these other motifs were taken from somewhere else, perhaps Friends, since they seem to have some sort of a past together. Also, one of the lines of flavor text in the mic fight is "smells like gel pen," which is a reference to the copy of Cat Petters in Chris's house. It honestly would be genuinely bizarre for Toby to connect both the mics and Friend to Cat Petters for just no reason at all. So if Friend is Mike, why the fuck would Friend never work for Tanner? Well, Friend is sort of implied to be a demon, that the tale of hell can be interpreted that Chris's famous demon summoning incident from their childhood could have created Friend. Like when you or I think about what does a demon summoning look like, you imagine a pentagram with a bunch of candles, but you can usher forth an alternate fantasy world by stabbing the ground, so who's to say that Chris and Candy didn't just get like a steak knife and stab Noelle's cartridge, which infused it with super darkness. I'm quite literally spitballing here, but that's some variation of that seems to be Friend's origin story as some sort of demon that was summoned. Demons are often associated with deals, and so is Friend, because they do seem to have been involved with Spamton at some point. And the smile in the S-rank vending machine from the TV world says, "Always at your humble service." And Friend also seemingly works under John Mantle in the boss fight. Like, that might be like a metaphor or something, but even if it is a metaphor, it is still Friend working for something. So, if Friend is this thing that seems to, be at someone's service, which I've just realized would also be a good thematic parallel to Rollsay, it could be that Friend's service was part of the deal that made Spamton a big shot, Spamton made a deal with probably Gaster, maybe the Knight, but 1997 seems pre-Knight. I think canonically Deltarune takes place in 2021 because of the Among Us reference, but I really don't know. And also, unrelated, there do seem to be two people involved in Spamton's deal, because according to the Addison story, one day it seemed like whoever Spamton was talking with disappeared, but he was still able to contact someone, so if Friend is again associated with good luck and Friend's presence brought Spamton fortune, because Spamton broke the terms of his deal. We find that in Chapter 3, that Spamton broke the terms of his deal by attempting to give Tanner the information that made him a big shot. So if that caused Friend to leave, that would have caused Spamton to go into his downward spiral. But if he was also in cahoots with Gaster or someone, he would have still had somebody to call and leave the phone hanging with the garbage noise in Cyberworld. But if Friend was Spamton's asset in some way, Friend could have been traded to Tenner, because Tenner gave Spamton fame, and so in exchange, Spamton said, "This is my system, you can use them." So once Spamton basically got his deal voided by attempting to give Tanner his secret, that would have also meant that his deal with Friend was voided, and so by like the transitive property, Friend would have basically fucked off from TV time, which would have necessitated the creation of the Mike Squad to fill in for Friend, because Friend sort of seemed to have worked from like the background. Also, on an unrelated note, I might have actually mentioned it before, but Spamton only seems to start wearing the pink and yellow glasses after his fall from grace, maybe in sort of like a homage to Friend, like it's like a good luck charm. The teased Chapter 5 cutscene. In case you didn't know, in the latest newsletter, Toby released a cutscene involving the three mics in Castletown. In the cutscene, we basically see them just like chilling out and making a couple meta jokes. We don't know if Chapter 5's Castletown sequence will happen before or after Flower King, which is very obviously the Dark World. It's really up in the air. Like having it happen after makes more sense from like you want to be able to like check your recruits and like the cafe dialogue, but also like logistically, I think it would have to happen. It would probably happen if I had to like guess, like before. I don't know, because like I think it either has to happen like at the start, like Chapter 4. But I also think maybe the way Chapter 4 is structured was a bit unorthodox, but we really can't tell. But it could happen like after Flower King, but like before the festival, because I think they said the festival is happening that night. Either way, if we say it happens after like Flower King, we are able to notice something. I do reckon we'll probably be meeting Friend in Chapter 5. A lot of people were saying that like, the big bads aren't going to show up till like the very end of the game, but the knight showed up at the end of Chapter 3, which sort of, I think it's a statement of intent on Toby's behalf, because I think it would be like kind of lame to keep all your like big bags at the very end. Like they do need to have some like character development, so like having Friend like appear is probably decently reasonable, because like we do actually need to like introduce this thing that to the casual player appeared in one cutscene as like a presence in the story. I reckon if Chapter 3 is anything to go by, it'll probably appear at the very end like a third act twist, and if it does speak and Friend is actually Mike, it will probably call itself Mike. And if that's the case, if we go to Castletown after this all goes down, and we go to the Mike room, what do we see? Jonga and Patat are out of costume as a Pippins and a Zapper, and Pluey, still in costume, dressed up to look like Friend, saying Pluey is correct about Mike, or maybe Pluey's just like a furry, who knows, other shadow guys have shown themselves to have an affinity for cats. So, what are the ramifications of Mike being Friend? Personally, I reckon it'd be kind of neat. I reckon it'd be cool. However, like, not from like an in-game perspective, but like from like a fan perspective, it would be kind of weird to like have to like be like, oh yeah, it's not called Friend anymore, his name's Mike. I mean, I could see it like being like a Flowey parallel where he calls himself like, oh, don't you remember me, Chris, from your childhood? It's me, your best friend. I ate this or something. There is a weird implication if Friend is Mike, right? Like, what does it mean for Mike to have basically been like doing the optics on TV World? Like, the children follow the pointed tail sort of implies that like friend had a presence in the light world. But if it was helping on TV time, how was it doing so? Like, how was something that exists in the light world interacting with a dark, fountainless dark world? For those not in the loop, dark, fountainless dark world is it hasn't really been explicitly stated, but it's more sort of like a concept, because like all darkness have memories of themselves as objects before the dark fountain was created, and a lot of them say that like, oh yeah, like some people changed when it was created, like the music trio from chapter 2 say that Queen was a lot nicer before the fountain. So the way it works is there's sort of like, in like every area there's like a hypothetical dark world where like objects have their darkness be influenced by what happens in the light world. But when a dark fountain is created, the fountain is infused with the will, and the dark fountain that forms is sort of like the base dark world, where like it's influenced by what happened in the light world, but it's like sort of got like a twist on whoever made it. Like one of the shutters from chapter 3 describes the world of Tenna's dark world. It describes like cliffs and metal and water, and it said that the TV studio was created on top of it, which could be read as a reference to like when Chris created the Dark Fountain, they did so with the intention of basically wasting Susie and Ralsei's time. So they artificially put Tenna in charge, which meant that the Dark Fountain created sort of had their will artificially increase the importance of the TV studio. I'm rambling, but you sort of get what I'm saying. I will say though, if I had to put money on a plot point in Deltarune, I would be willing to bet I'd be willing to bet like $20, but like I do reckon we are going to meet some sort of darkner that can exist in the light world even for a little bit. Like, I do reckon Friend's deal is a darkner. It's an object that's absorbed so much darkness it can sustain itself in the light world for a small to decent period of time, and that's why it can like move between dark worlds. And that's why it goes into Dark Worlds, not only to like spy on Chris, which I think it has done in the past, which would also be a motive for why it would help at Tenna's show, because it got to spy on Chris and probably Noelle, who it has like a pre-established relationship with. Yeah, but the reason it goes into Dark World is so it can absorb more darkness, so it can survive in the light world. That's all I got to say about why Friends probably still Mike. Crazy that we got it right the first time. You know, I actually do want to make more videos like this. I got a good idea for one that's less of a theory and more like a conceptual look at like how a dark world would actually function like in reality. So I guess like and subscribe, and I might make it, you know, in the next like 10 years, because I'm bad at this shit. Alright, goodbye.